Hello, everyone. And firstly, I would like to thank all my dear friends who have so wholeheartedly shared such wonderful and inspiring experiences of their association with Dr. Sankaran, whom we so fondly call as Sir, even now. Uh, and it's quite moving, to hear this. So for me, I mean, there is so much to say. I have been associated with Sir since I graduated. Immediately after I finished my uh, residence post from the college where I was working with him in his OPD, which is way back in 2000. And now we are like 2022. So, 22 years. I think in 3 years we'll celebrate a silver anniversary. So, but I remember every step for me and my association with him. I have, of course, learned a lot about homeopathy. I have learned a lot about life. Uh, I have learned very good values and ethics. In fact, most of our values and ethics matched, and I think that's the reason we are still associated for so many years. Um and more so about my own self, explore all the hidden potentials I would have had, which I'm not sure anyone, would have had the ability to help me realize all those potentials and to use those abilities in the interest of homeopaths and homeopathy. And with one, guided one focus in mind, which is to be 100% true to yourself, true to the profession, and true to the intent. And the intent has always been and continues to be to do the best for homeopaths and homeopathy globally. There is no other intent for him and for us and for our entire team. And this is what we have strived and we will continue to do uh, for years to come. So just few, I also felt like sharing few moments with Sir. So I know as a student, we were lucky to have his lectures on repertory. And I still remember, he used to teach us this differences between rubrics. And one simple rubric, he said that what is the difference between waking up and rising? I mean, offhand, you would really not realize that is there a difference? But he said waking means is just after you open your eyes. That is waking. And rising means after you get up from your bed and take a few steps and walk about. That is rising. And I realized that such a difference could make such a big difference in the remedy that I would select for my patient. And Sir has such a deep and vast knowledge of repertory, uh, which probably we had, just touched the tip of the iceberg when we were in college. So this kind of created an impression on my mind. And then after that came was I was his resident doctor at the homeopathy college, and we saw a lot of patients, OPD patients, uh, in the hospitalized. We would admit cases, difficult, challenging cases, and only homeopathy was given. So those, and Sir would come for every visit, whatever time of day and night. So seeing these cases so closely with him, and one case is, this case was of a young woman, probably married for a few years, and a case of primary infertility. And of course, she was advised IVUs and IVFs, but they were not very affordable. So I took the case and I came to two remedies at that time. I said, Sir, either we can give her magnesium carbonicum or pulsatilla, but I'm not sure which of these. But I had attempted to use his ideas. So I was very excited about it. So he selected one of them. I mean, right now, I don't remember which. And then we gave a dose and she went off. And I guess for about 2 months, we didn't hear back from her. And then her husband came to the OPD, and he just met me outside the OPD. He didn't even come in. He called me out. And he said, I want to share a good news. I said, what happened? Where's your wife? Because for me, I was very excited to know because, it was my case. And he said, I have a good news. My wife conceived. And I think that moment was so, I was so emotional also because I knew the couple was struggling and they didn't have money to go through those expensive treatments. And it was one of the remedies I had, proposed. And the ideas that, we were learning were used in that case. And then I went back in the OPD and I told her that this is such great news, the remedy worked. And in such short span of time, in a case of primary infertility, just one dose. But I said, I'm disappointed the woman didn't come. She said, don't worry, she has no business to come now, her work is done. So anyways, that was it. And then from there, I got the opportunity to work with him at his clinic, which I consider as, of course, for anyone, it's a life transforming, not just for me, but all my friends and my teachers who worked with him. It has been a life transforming journey. And this was way back in 2001 when all these ideas on sensations and kingdoms and levels were, booming. And I was like, coming from that little pond in a college, and you are like now part of this huge ocean. And, you see all these big stalwarts that you just heard, like, meeting, great teachers like Roger and Nancy we saw here, and like them, in person while I was working with him. And just to see the whole passion to develop the ideas was just beyond words. And then as the sensation method was developed, the book on plants was being written. I remember Dinesh was working on this book at that time. And every case, he would try to use the ideas, whether, but use it to such perfection that not even one part of the case was missed. Every failed case also, where the idea was used. I think this was probably the best thing that I have learned about him, that even if your remedy has not worked, go back to the case, review, analyze, sit with the patient 2 hours, 3 hours, and come back with a remedy. So the kind of perseverance that, one needs to invest in a case or in any project that we have done is supreme. So then one more case which really established the whole idea of sensation and kingdoms. I guess a lot of you know about it, is this case of women who had autoimmune hepatitis, and she was in her early 40s, and she was advised liver transplant, and she came to Sir, and he started the case taking uh, in his own unique way, starting from the chief complaint, what was the effect, and she said that the complaint makes her feel handicapped, as if she's like a piece in the museum, and she feels so stuck, so stuck, and she cannot get out of the house, she cannot move out. So he said, like, this is the soft data, this is the first hint towards the sensation, keep it in mind, let's move ahead. Then came the spot on dreams, and she said she used to get this dream where, she's being heated up and she's made into this golden statue. And so he said, this is still an image, it's a delusion, you must go deeper, beyond delusion is the sensations, that's where you will establish your kingdoms, and that's where you really establish the sensation in the case. So as we probe deeper, she said this experience of being in a statue is like stuck, you are like froze in a position, stuck, cannot move, cannot get out. So then the idea of confirmation. So it's not that if you hear it once, it is the sensation, but you have to see it in all spots in the case. So we saw in the dream, the same sensation kept coming up. We saw in her life situation. We saw in her interest, which is she spoke about a movie where there is a person who is, in some extramarital affairs and is imprisoned. And again, the feeling of being stuck and, you are in one position and cannot. So the idea that, what he was trying to work is the idea of sensation is not just about seeing it in one place in a case, but you have to see it again and again, confirm it again and again, and then you establish it that yes, this is the thread that runs through the case. This is the sensation that when you match it with a remedy which has the ability to prove a similar sensation or through clinical confirmations, the same idea, then that remedy has the capability to work. So these ideas that, we were here, I mean, what we hear, learn in colleges that give the simillimum, give the closest possible simillimum. But here with him, we could see the actual application of it in cases, in pathological cases. So in this woman, the remedy that came was most unusual, was radicans. One would never imagine, the materia medica never spoke about it. And she improved, phenomenal change. The liver enzymes improved steadily, very fast. She didn't require a liver transplant. So cases like this, friends, I mean, there is so much to share, but the idea of being associated with him first as a student and then as a colleague, and to know him at such close quarters, the kind of perseverance, the kind of passion, and the kind of honesty that one invests in anything that you do is supreme, I would say. And I know, my friends, till date, that philosophy, those values and ethics, it runs in me and my team. And I want to assure you that everything that we produce for you and that we will continue to, it will be in your interest. So because this is the legacy that runs from him to us. And I would say, yes, we are blessed. We are really, really blessed to have him with us, that he shares so much unconditionally. And personally, I don't know what I would have done with myself if I didn't have this opportunity to work with him. And I know it has greatly benefited so many homeopaths, friends, colleagues. So yes, so I think it's a journey zone, and he's a person who's really not going to stop. Now we are working on the subclass, superclass, the wise processes, and I don't know what's next. There's always an excitement that, okay, now what next he's coming up with. So this is the whole idea that, when we say from Hahnemann to Sankaran, as my friend said, we don't see a difference. It's just graduation of a method which has uncomparable abilities to treat acute to chronic pathologies which have no answers in modern medicine. Uh, it is just taking it deeper into deeper levels of understanding, deeper levels of application. Because when you go deeper, the remedy has a much greater chance to bring in a more deeper effect. So that's where we are, friends, and this is all from me. And I hope we will continue this journey, all of us together, this great journey, and take homeopathy to much greater heights. Thank you so much.